Chinese goal here is to make the war last as long as possible and keep on distracting the West and the USA from the real goal. The longer the America and the Western countries are distracted, the more time China has to beef up for the last or for the next stand. So that's what I think about the so-called peace plan. Before I turn on the comments, a little bonus material. The last point article of this document, I'll remind you, promote post-war reconstruction. The international community should take measures to support post-war reconstruction in conflict zones. That's what the Chinese document says. Real life example. It is not a secret that parts of Ukraine have been razed by the Russian army, by Wagner Group, by the Chechens, by Russian forces, by the Russians. And it's a tragedy. Everyone understands that sooner or later, when this war is over, international community will step in and will help Ukraine to rebuild. Now, rebuilding a country is a huge project, and a lot of companies need to be involved. And there's going to be a huge economic growth coming out of that. And guess what? The Chinese, they want a piece of their pie. Chinese economy. Chinese have many problems domestically. Now, I am not a huge expert on China. I just know the basics, but I understand that Chinese economy is not going through the best times, far from it, and Chinese also have a huge problem of aging population and decreasing population. So they want an economic boost, and they see restoration of Ukraine by the international community such a boost, or one of the boosts. Being here in Uzbekistan, I have met a few companies and a few people. Uzbekistan is a place of economic growth right now, attracting lots of foreign companies, including construction, engineering companies, industrial companies, investors. And I met with a representative of one of the Chinese companies, a large, huge Chinese company, probably company size bigger than Russia. And there are a few of those in China. So there's a representative in Uzbekistan, and we were talking about possible cooperation here in Uzbekistan, and he wasn't interesting, but he was making it look like he's interesting. And at the very end, he hit me with one question. He said, if you know any way how we can go and help rebuild to Ukraine after the war is over, we'd be really delighted if you could introduce us to people, if you could talk about that, and let's work in that direction. And all our meeting, that was the focal point. The guy was warming me up, so to speak, for this one question. And he looked at me like it was really hard to misunderstand his real interest, right? And that's one huge construction company, Chinese. It has so many projects all over the world, but their focus is they're trying to break into rebuilding Ukraine so much. So that's another thing that China wants from this ordeal, the war between Russia and Ukraine, once the war is over. It wants to be part of the rebuilding force, hoping it will boost China economy and industry. It will boost China economically in general. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they'll let Chinese restore Ukraine. They're going to keep them away as far as possible.